Hello everyone, this is In-Game Art with another boxing and the offline party game review. This is Legend of Mana Remastered for the PlayStation 4, but being played and tested on my PlayStation 5. To jump right into it, this physical copy here is just the base vanilla version of the game, so the on-disc version is 1.0. Now sadly there was an update available. This update size was 580 megabytes big, and we'll take you to version 1.10 since the time of making this video. Now, like always, I play all my games completely offline with an unregistered account, and though I didn't experience any game-breaking bugs or issues, I did experience some, let's say, oddities, but I will go into more details about this subject in a bit. If you've noticed, this is an Asian physical copy. At the time making this video, there is no physical copies in terms of PAL or American region. There is a Switch version which is also Asian. But everything I've researched for a little bit of it is that there is a PAL version, but it does not come with a game cartridge, and it only has a code in a box for the Switch. The PlayStation 4 and Switch version has to be only obtained from Asia importing of the game if you want an actual physical copy of Legend of Mana Remastered, which is again is a very odd thing for these developers to do, and publishers, I still don't understand these selective physical releases and how they work it. It's just, I guess they don't like money. That's the only thing I can think of. But moving into it, this is my first time ever playing Legend of Mana. I have had the PS1 game for a very long time. I just never really sat down and played it. So this was the first time for me to actually sit down and play it. So I was very, very much intrigued into checking it out. Now, it is a action kind of style JRPG, where it's not like your typical turn-based, which was pretty popular in the PS1 days. So it was very interesting to see this more action-y kind of attacking it. Like, it was kind of like a beat-em-up almost, like RPG-ish style game. Now, in Legend of Mana, you evolve, of course, the subjects of mana, and you're trying to rebuild the world and to regrow the mana tree. And that's kind of like its main selling point of Legend of Mana is that the world is broken up to pieces, and you got to gather the pieces to rebuild up the world and the city and stuff like that as you're progressing through the map. And it kind of has this open-ended, make your own story progression system in the game, which is very interesting and very innovating for the time point of what they were trying to go with. So I give them huge kudos for that. Now, I did mention that I have had some oddities, and these oddities are very odd. It's not like game-breaking bugs or anything like that, or anything I'm aware of, is that I didn't actually beat Legend of Mana, and it's not because of my lack of attempting or anything like that. I can't say for sure. I think I've came across a progression-stopping bug. Can't say for sure because the game is very odd in its design points that it makes it really hard to know when and where to progress in the game. And that's my biggest gripe with the game, is that the game, as I said, is very open-ended. It's kind of like tell your own story, go your own path. And it's just, there's sometimes it can be very vague on what you need to do, where you need to go, and who you need to talk to progress these certain segments. Think of it like more like episodes, like each story, side quest, and activating your path through is like a episode. Now, I want to go into certain subjects before I go more into details about what my issue is. Let's just talk about some of my issues with this remaster or just the original game in itself. First off, I really didn't like how when you defeat an enemy, enemies drop experience points and you gotta try to hurry up and pick up that experience points or item or money because it disappears really quickly. I think they could have done something with this remaster to make sure that those experience points or items last a little longer before disappearing. Because there was a few times I had to just rush in the heat of battle and heat of enemies and get hit just to try to pick up these experience before they disappear or item. Next one is that I was starting out the game first using the spear, and then I tried out some of the other weapons, and then eventually landed on the bow. And the bow is so overpowered in this game. It basically just, it's easy mode if you want to just use the bow if you just want to progress the story real quickly. Then I do admit I pretty much ran through the entire bow for what am I progressing through the game, because it destroyed everything from bosses to normal enemies. Just the bow is just completely OP. As well as I talked about, like, lack of information, no clues. It's just, some of the quests and stuff like that can be very annoying trying to figure out where you need to go, what you need to do, and their wording can sometimes be extremely vague to try to, like, deduce what they wanted you to do. So that was a big issue in that. As well as that, while the environmental mapping is nice and pretty, I love the artwork of the game. And of course, I'm always a big fan of sprite graphics. It is extremely difficult to sometimes know where is a path you can transition to a new screen. Sometimes you can't even tell. Sometimes it looks like part of the environment, and you don't even think that you can run up there or run down there or run across there that will transition. If they had like little indicators like pointing like, hey, this is a pathway, it would have made it a little bit easier. Maybe there's a way to do it. I just didn't realize it in the settings or in the button pressing. Because I know like Final Fantasy VII used to have that, where you can like push like, I can't remember, like R3 or something like that, and had like little arrows pointing where they'll let you know where if you can transition to the next screen. This game could really use that. Next one is that while I did come across, like I said, some issues, the one thing is that the game is boring and extremely easy. I just was not invested in this game very much. The characters didn't intrigue me all that much. The story, the progression of the gameplay and everything like that wasn't very fun or challenging in the slightest. Especially when I got to like level 40, because I figured out how to like grind this particular enemy. It gave me like 320 experience, and he was extremely easy, especially using the bow. And I got like really high up there in level that I was just basically destroying everything. So what I want to talk about, this progression stopping point, was that I did progress quite heavily through the game. Like, I got through doing the Jonin's quest, where like the character you see me talking to right now, his quest in terms of like saving the Jonins, they don't go, what are they called, Janins, that they don't go extinct. And I did that. The problem was that there was supposed to be the mana tree now that I was supposed to do explore, but the mana tree wasn't ready yet. I had to still do a few more other side quests and some other stuff, but I couldn't progress because you're supposed to get these items called artifacts that allow you to create more portions of the map, and I didn't get particular artifacts that allowed me to get the firefly lantern and the stone eye like objects that allow creating new sections to explore. I even went through wikis, I went through tutorial videos and walkthroughs and stuff like that. Everyone told me to talk to this nun, and I just couldn't find this nun to talk to that's supposed to give me a stone eye or something like that. Most of them just say to immediately do the quest that you see me doing right now in the video. In the video, I show you immediately talk to this guy, the Avalon, and immediately do his quest. Because right as you do his quest and get it done, it's called the Lost Princess quest, you immediately get the Firefly and the Stone Eye artifacts. And I didn't have any issues after I was playing through that correct way. And like I said, but the problem is I don't know if it was a bug, because there were several times in the game where I watched tutorials, I read tutorials and stuff like that, and I did the things they did, and it just didn't work. But then I would leave the area, explore around because I'm confused, and come back, still nothing happened. I ran around a little bit more, tried to explore to figure out what I was doing, came back, and all of a sudden it worked. That character was there that I could talk to. So I don't know if it was like times of days or something I did or something I'm supposed to do, but I don't know. I have no idea how to progress. So it was just, it got to the point where I was like, am I having fun? No. Am I invested in the story? No. Do I care to keep continuing with this game? No. So I'm not trying to be dog onto the game. I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of fond memories of this game and nostalgia and everything like that. I'm fully understandable of that, and I'm not trying to say that this game isn't fun or anything like that, or they shouldn't have had a remaster. I am thankful the game had a remaster. That's really cool. Such an obscure kind of hidden game. I'm sure a lot of people never would have expected this game of all the Square Enix games to get a full remaster like this. And I'm still proud of it, and it's still worth the existence as well as physical copies of it. But for me, it just didn't really hit the marks for me. I just found it not very engaging, as well as we can talk about some of the other design flaws that are around this game. The other things are like crafting, the animal rancher or monster rancher mode, as well as the fairies, you play instrument music stuff. I didn't do any of that in the game. Like, I avoided that entirely. I do not even, that definitely felt like a last minute shoehorn into the game, because I made one weapon. That was a platinum bow, and I just destroyed everything with that bow. There was no point of resources and management. I had like 10,000 gold. Everything just felt like how do you say, like, last minute thought, or not fleshed out fully to understand its purpose in the game, or they just included at the last minute without any optimization or purpose for the game. It just felt more just, I don't know, it just wasn't mission. I guess again, it's not probably for me. But if you love this game and you have not fond nostalgia, again, the game worked fine for me. It was just I couldn't progress, even though until I did this, I went back and redid this quest. What I'm doing right now, Lost Princess. The game seemed to be progressing a lot more smoother than it was for my first time running through the game. Make sure you do the Lost Princess first, because clearly though the game was trying to have like a tell your own story, they clearly expected people to do this quest first. So like always, I will try to leave links down in the description if you're instant copy. Sure, it's a well worth a pickup because it is an interesting physical copy. It's only available in the Asian region. It is on the Switch as well. And again, it's not for me, but it doesn't mean it's a bad game. It doesn't mean that it's not worth collecting. It doesn't mean it's not worth playing. But I'm sure when you play it, you will be able to see some of the issues that I experienced throughout my time through it. Like, not the most engaging combat, not the interesting story, the lack of information on how to progress, and the shoehorn other mechanics in the game. So like always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next unboxing video. Bye-bye!